Hello guys, so let's create this website which is going to be for a crypto SaaS company. So the very first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to create a good old frame, click on desktop, and as we can see we have this 14 by 40 pixel frame. Now I'm also going to add the keyboard viewer so that you can see each and every keystrokes, and let's go ahead and let's create a headline over here. So this is going to be a headline. Let's make it bigger, and for this project we're going to use Lato as our font, and this is a free Google web font which you can simply look up directly on Google. So I'm just going to go over here, simply click on search for Lato. You're going to find it right away, fonts.google.com, download the family, and then double click on the file and you're good to go. So actually let's change up this one to the most groundbreaking crypto revolution. Let's just make it a little bit more grandiose, and this is going to just be more interesting to essentially it's just gonna make it more interesting. So let's go ahead here and let's add a little bit of line height. And the very next thing we're gonna do is we're going to add a sub headline, because every good website has a headline and a sub headline. So this is going to be the service which you've been waiting for years. Okay, and missing a C over here. Cool. So overall this is starting to look pretty cool. And another thing that we want to do though is to add a layout grid. We're going to select the columns as the layout. Going to add a few of them, 12, and let's keep the color more neutral so that we can more easily see what's going on. And there we go. All right, so far so good. And what we're gonna do actually is we're going to, well, actually let's do it later. I was thinking of just making this background of a darker color, but we're going to do that in just a moment. So over here, let's change this one. This is going to be get started, and we're going to add a button. All right. Cool. So let's select both of these. Let's center it. Let's make this one bold. And so far, so good. And we're also going to make this rounded. And we're also going to create a second version of this button, which is going to be the contact us. And cool. All right, so this is starting to look pretty good. Now what we want is an illustration here on the right, and I'm going to look for that. Actually, let me open it up in Safari, and I'm going to look that into Drawkit. So drawkit.io has a lot of beautiful free illustrations, and we're going to have a look if we can find anything crypto related somehow, or web app related, even something which is not going to be like 100% like crypto. It doesn't necessarily need to show like bitcoins and stuff like that. Even just this would actually look pretty cool. So let's go on and let's download it. So you can download it for free. In the past I actually paid for these, so let's go over here. I'm gonna get this one, and cool, view content, download. There you go. I would highly recommend you, or actually yeah, just recommend you to actually make a donation, because the guys at Drawkit really made a great effort to provide all these illustrations for free. So it's just a nice way to help the design community. And here you go. I have all in AAP, so I cannot work around these ones. So there you go. This is something that happens, guys. We're going to move on to another illustration. Let's go with Andro, which is another great place where to find awesome illustrations. And I'm just going to search for crypto. So I'm not going to cut this part, because this is the natural part of the process, guys. You can't always get what you want the first time around, and you have to figure out other ways to find illustrations, assets, miscellaneous other assets which you need for your design projects along the way. So this is all part of the journey. So let's make this one right here, and you have this beautiful illustration of Bitcoin. So I think we're just going to stick with that. We're also going to keep the same orange color right here, and for this one, yeah, we're gonna do the same, and we're just going to make it a stroke instead of a fill, and this is all going to make more sense in just a moment, so just bear with me. All right, now one thing that we want to do is to actually add a fill. It's going to be a linear, and we're going to make this one with a blue color. Let's add the second fill right here. Let's make it blue but more round, like these lines, a bit more darker. Yeah, that would do. All right, so we have a little bit of visual diversity going on. I'm going to make this white, and cool. So it's already starting to look pretty good, and we're going to capitalize these two in order to drive more visual emphasis. Probably going to make the stroke white. And so far so good. Actually wondering if I want to break the rule and just make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, that would do. And there we go. So what we're missing now is maybe a call to action, so sort to scroll down, and of course also the top header. So let's make this one a little bit bolder. Let's this like that, a little bit smaller, 13, and we're also going to add a arrow. Where do we find the arrow? We're going to find it on Nucleo, which again is an app. Just go on nucleoapp.com, I think it's the website, or simply Google Nucleo app, and you're going to find this free icon manager essentially. So this is a great place where you can find really cool icons, and you can also leverage the free Google Material Design ones if you don't want to invest in the premium version, which is totally fine, as you're going to find a lot of really cool icons there. And yeah, so far so cool. So future bitcoins. It's just don't want to get any reference to any company, so I'm just going to do like this. Yeah, really hope it's not anything that we don't want to associate with, but I think it's okay. So all right, so here we have the mini logo. I'm just making this up, guys, of course. We're going to have the about, right, about, then we're going to have a few other So this is going to be the service. This is going to be blog, and then contacts. And probably going to duplicate the get started, just make a smaller version of it since we want the main emphasis to be on the other one. I'm going to copy and paste the style of this one right here, just so that we can get visual consistency. And cool. All right. Yeah, I won't really make these stay and fit exactly there, but I think this is going to be enough. All right, so far so good. And this section we're actually going to, just going to be some workarounds, and we're going to talk about it with the developer. But yeah, so far so good. I think this one is looking pretty interesting. And let's finish up by changing the background, something more in line with the design. And we're also going to remove the layout grid. All right, so we can see what we've been working with so far. So this is looking pretty interesting. The last thing that we're gonna do is we're actually going to change the names. So here it's going to be button. I'm going to applicate the name over here. It's going to be Bitcoin illustration. It's going to be the logo. And we're going to group all of these into one unit. Call it header. And let's it's going to be a secondary button. We're just going to group all of this, call it left. This one, Bitcoin illustration, or actually content left. And we also have the scroll down. It's going to be the arrow. Oops. Let's group it and scroll. All right, so far so good. So hope you enjoyed this tutorial on this crypto website, and hope this was useful and that you can leverage some of these concepts and tips and workflows for your very next design project in Figma.